Hi there. We're right on time. So hopefully you're with me, or there will be many of you joining in momentarily. There is a chat box, so feel free to ask any questions you might have. I really wanted to make sure that I answered any remaining questions you might have about the Naturally Recovering Autism membership, how it can help you. Hopefully, you've seen a lot of the testimonials, some of them video testimonials of things that people have shared for what that the program has done for them as a parent, the kind of support that you get, but also having those steps, A to Z, very thorough, not just about diet, but really getting in there and understanding what all needs to happen for the best results. Because hopefully you also saw the masterclass last weekend. The replay is still available at the link to which is also the same link to join at naturallyrecoveringautism.com/membership. And it's here on the page here for you with this video. And make sure that you do get a chance to watch the masterclass or any part of it that you missed, because it was over 3 hours of me teaching for free just to really give you the education and to understand the possibilities. Because I know that this could be new information to you. Maybe even the thought of autism recovery or hearing that is the first time you've heard it. When my son was diagnosed now 15 years ago, almost 16 years ago, I was told to drug him and try behavioral therapies, and that there was really nothing that we could do for him other than that. But again, fortunately, I have a background in craniosacral therapy of over 30 years and working with holistic health practitioners. And I studied the brain, and I knew and I know that the brain can and does heal. It's a fact. But I didn't know that much about autism. So I began my own research because I didn't want to just drug him. I didn't want to mask symptoms. I wanted to find out what was causing his debilitating anxiousness, that the sensory overload made it hard to sit in a classroom. He didn't want to go to school. He was really defiant. He was irritable, uh, kind of hard to manage and deal with a lot of the time. Yet he also had a really, really sweet heart. And I know that you've seen that in your child as well. I always want to say your child is not an angry person. These toxins and these pathogens and all of these things make it really difficult for them to be calm and happy and think clearly in school, because my son is brilliant, as I believe yours is, and they need to be able to think clearly, focus clearly, learn like they want to, and do the things asked of them. My son used to say, "Mom, I want to, but I can't, and I don't know why." And I didn't either at the time. He had debilitating stomach aches that would wake him up screaming at 3 a.m. In fact, my very last trip to the emergency room was what I call my breaking point or my turning point. We all have it. I know what yours is, but that point where I said, you know what, I have had it. I've tried all these practitioners. I tried therapies. I don't want to drug him. I got to figure out what the causes are. What is creating, what things are creating all of his symptoms, and what can I do about it? Because I wanted him to be who he is without all of this stuff in his way, and be able to live a fulfilling life, and to be able to enjoy life, have it more comfortable and peaceful. And today, all of his symptoms are gone. And it's due to the now 15 years of research that I've done specifically on autism. And I share it with you because I know as a parent, you are likely struggling to figure out the answers, and the internet and the books and everything. There's just so much information out there now. It's overwhelming. And it took me a decade and over $150,000 in that time period of implementing things, figuring out what worked, what didn't, trial and error, and having to use something long enough to see if it would work, or learning more about it. There's just it's so much entailed. And when I figured it out and I got such incredible results with my own son, I thought, can this work for other people? What if it does? There are a lot of parents out there with children with autism who aren't getting the support, the help, or the know-how to do this. And so that's why I created a membership to help you, because I know that you need the support and to give you this kind of guidance. I have a brand new member. She just came in yesterday, and she right away in the forum where you ask me your questions anytime and I answer them, she said, "Thank you so much for creating this. We have been searching for something like this for years to help our child." And, that's the kind of thing that I understand immensely. I wish there had been something like this out there when I was searching for my own son. But again, today he's happy, healthy, a college graduate. He lived 1,000 miles away from me in his own apartment and when he was at college. And I just want your child to be able to get to their best results, whatever they are, because we know every child's level of recovery is different. But, kids who are getting D's and F's are now getting A's and B's. Parents that I've helped who have implemented the things that I share. There is also kids who were irritable and screaming and tantrums all day long, and some of them angry and aggressive. And I know that, that can be scary too. Those kids now calm and happy. Ones who were afraid of other kids now making friends and being, peaceful, being able to sit in a classroom and learn, focusing. It's all making a huge difference. And so that's why I'm here for you. And in the masterclass, we did cover all of the things around gut healing, and it's much more than diet, because again, we can recap here real quick. There's the leaky gut, which then allows the undigested foods to get into the bloodstream and then creates more allergic reactions from the body, but also creates a lot of inflammation. We talked about how the gut controls the brain, because the neurotransmitters, which are these brain messengers, are made in the gut, things like serotonin and dopamine. And they're responsible for things like mood stability, sleep, proper sleep, appetite satiety, focusing ability, and our feel-good chemicals, but also in their ability to stay calm and relaxed. The immune system, 80%, up to 80% of the immune system is also created in the gut. So that is really important as well. So the gut has to be supported for not only diet and reducing the inflammation, but some supplements and things that will help to heal up that leaky gut and those holes. And then also to be able to allow proper nutrition to be absorbed. And there's a lot to it. So all of that. Then stage 2, natural and safe heavy metal detoxification. In the masterclass, again, you can go back and review. Again, everything is available until Thursday night, tomorrow night at midnight. And then the masterclass goes down and enrollment closes. So if you need to get in there and look at these things, please do that right away. And there are some dangers with DMSA, the heavy metal toxin, the heavy metal chelator or detoxifier that you will get at a doctor's office. So I explain why and what natural resources that we use in the program. And then also all of the co-infections. Now it's mold biotoxins, Lyme's disease, PANS or PANDAS, which is an autoimmune issue and can be affected by streptococcal infections affecting the brain, these heavy OCD behaviors, obsessive behaviors, can affect speech, ability to stay calm. All of these things are so important. Parasites, what to do about them, and how all of these, or many of these things, are antibiotic resistant, and many don't show up in tests. So you spend a lot of money trying to find out what's going on in tests, and then they don't show up. But if you use something natural and safe that can only support the body and all of the organs of the system, then you can move forward with these without having to worry about spending the money on tests. Again, the program has been out for about 6 years. It's in over 40 countries, and it is having tremendous success. It's online, 24/7. You have availability to it. As soon as you join, and the link will give you all of the details about joining and everything else. If you have any admin type of questions, administration, please write to support@naturallyrecoveringautism.com, and we will answer your questions for you there, and happy to. But all of the things about the program are on the page that naturallyrecoveringautism.com/membership. And you can also catch again the replay, which I go into these co-infections, the replay of the masterclass, so that you can understand a bit more of the details if you happen to miss them. Because I really would love to support you and see you get the right benefits for your child so that they can really grow up happy, healthy. And whether you're brand new to the journey or you've been on it for years, hopefully you saw on this page also, we have a short video clip of a couple of moms who shared the benefits from the program. And one of them, her son was 27 years old when she came into the program a couple of years ago, and he was nonverbal. And at age 27, she began implementing the steps in the Naturally Recovering Autism membership program with her son. And today he is speaking, reading books with her, finishing the book while they're reading it. It's tremendous. I mean, that to me, that alone would be fantastic. I mean, what a change for mom. As she says, it's music to her ears to hear him talking like that. And then what a difference for the child. Now he is able to communicate properly and speak. And all of these years, 27 years, she's been trying many things and nothing worked. So that's why I feel so strongly about this program. Again, it's unique from A to Z. It's not just a little bit of detoxification or a little bit of diet or a couple of things here and there. It's really quite thorough, and it needs to be, because there's a lot to this. I will definitely tell you there's no overnight fix. It's not just do a couple of things and then, next month they'll be cool and recovered. No, it doesn't work like that. Will people see things in the first month changes? Many do, but everybody's different. So it varies. And we don't know what the results will be until you try and you really have given it, a fair share of quite a while. Autism recovery, we say, can be about a 4-year process. Okay, so it takes some time and patience, but at least now you're not wasting time and your resources on things that aren't working for you or not knowing what to do. To have that roadmap, I think, is really important. What to do when. I've weeded out the supplements that don't work and only included the 5% that do. You purchase them as you need them along the way. There's a link for you to purchase them when you need it. So it's one thing at a time. It's not, you don't have to get everything right away. In fact, I don't want you to. I try to keep it as simple as possible with as detailed as this is too. Obviously there's a lot to it. There's a quick guide right away. You'll have access within minutes of joining too. You'll get an email that will give you your first steps, so show you what to do and how to get started, where to go, and give you the lay of the land in the private, password protected membership site. We have a tremendous community of parents, and it's it's important to know that you don't have to do this alone anymore too, because everybody who is in this program has a child with autism, or like myself has one, if lived through it. That's important, because I think you really don't know what it's like to be a parent of a child with autism unless you have one of your own. That the other parents just don't quite understand, and I do, and so do the parents in the community here in our membership program. And everybody is very supportive. There is no judgment, no shame, no guilt. It's nobody's fault. You say whatever you need to. We're dealing with digestion, constipation, everything, right? So it's a place where you can get your questions answered. And I see some questions have come in, and I want to answer. Shahid, hi. Thanks, Karen, for doing this. Your knowledge and experience is priceless. Oh, thank you so much, Shahid. That's why I do it, to help share that knowledge and experience in the best way that I can with you. So you're very welcome. Jennifer, your 2-year-old is a picky eater. Do you have to do gluten, dairy free, sugar free, to do the program. I've cut them all down, but worried if he can't eat any of them, there will be nothing left to eat. That's so funny, Jennifer, because this, of course, is one of our most common questions. And right away on the introduction page, as you come into the membership site, there at the bottom of it is, I also added onto, of course, the gut healing diet page, which are both in module 1, and with that in the introduction page, of course. At the bottom is a PDF on help for transitioning picky eaters. It is very challenging for a lot of parents. We have so I give resources. There are recipe and cookbooks to help guide you on things they from the can have food list. I give you a whole list of all that they can have, and then the foods that they can't have. But it is important to understand that those foods like gluten, dairy, corn, soy, sugars, of course, monosodium glutamate, food dyes, things like that. Those are foods that none of us should really be eating ever. People think, well, what do you mean? Or processed carbohydrates. All the nutrition's been pulled out of them, and they're very inflammatory. But these really, the top 5 I mentioned there are very inflammatory to the gut. And not to mention that our our crops are sprayed with glyphosate, which is Roundup weed killer. I wrote a blog post and did a podcast on, it's called Gluten and the Brain. So if you go to naturallyrecoveringautism.com and in the search bar you type in gluten, then hit search and a few things will come up. The one that says Gluten in the Brain, it's also a podcast. So I'm also which is on the blog post page as well. It'll all come up, the text and the recording of the podcast. And that will go into a lot of the details. I mean, gluten it affects the DNA. It makes the inflammation in the gut so intense that it actually weakens the gut lining. There are so many reasons why these foods need to be avoided. Now, one mom a new one said, "Can my child ever eat any of these foods again?" Now, I will be honest that occasionally my son does have some of these bad foods. He's 25, almost 26 years old now, right? So what happens is he'll usually, if he eats something with gluten in it, he'll usually get really tired, but he'll also get a headache often, which I like actually, because I'm here to babysit him the rest of his life, right? I've taught him, which is your child will become very knowledgeable in health and through this journey. And he knows, I'm like, how you feeling? He's like, yeah, I got a headache. I go, probably good for you to remember how that makes you feel. So that, you don't have much of it. So it's like that. It's like, I don't want him to ever have it, but he's going to, right, on occasion. And so if he does, then he usually feels the difference. So, he doesn't do it a lot, thankfully. But there are a lot of reasons, real health reasons why you don't want to. And once you start understanding it, this is how I eat every day with that diet, because it's just healthier. It's healthier for our brain, our liver for toxins, our organ of detoxification, our detox pathways for ongoing inflammation in the body, which can affect so many things, our gut, our liver, memory, everything else that we have. Maybe we don't have autism, but we can get a lot of the same symptoms. In the blog post and podcast that I did, that is number 134, and you can type in 134 on my website and it'll come up, and it says what causes the symptoms of autism. And I give a comparison of the Diagnostic Statistical Manual, the DSM, that psychiatrists and psychologists use to diagnose autism. And then below that, I give a symptom guide of things like candida, leaky gut, heavy metal toxins, many of the co-infections, mold, Lyme, and under those, the symptoms that can relate to those co-infections or toxins. And many of us parents have a lot of those same symptoms, and they can be from a lot of the same things. We just have our ability to our brain and our body's ability was a little bit stronger to deal with them. So we might have irritability or trouble sleeping. Not that these are great, but we don't, we don't have autism. Our children are, as I call, the canaries of the world. They have more of these heavier symptoms. Their detox pathways are completely backed up, but ours can get backed up more and more, and we can have stronger and stronger symptoms until things kind of crack, right? You get to a breaking point. The body will only take so much. So practicing prevention is always important. Just anything you can do to detoxify. I use detoxifying binders daily. I eat healthy daily. I'm careful about environmental toxins. And if you join right now, you still get the the free 13-page my resource guide to environmental toxins, where they are found in and around your home. And it's a parent's guide, because not only am I going to tell you what a lot of them are that are likely in and around your home that you might not even be aware of, but I also give solutions, because that's really important too, because you need to know what to do about it. So that's right at the top of the resources page for you. And it's also at the bottom of the environmental home environment protection page in module 1. So that's there for you, that guide as well. You'll get a lot of resources for detoxification, of course, in the program. I have a whole page dedicated to it right away in the beginning. Just there's some informative pieces that I want to just help to educate you, because I'm all about education. And the more you know, then the more you'll want to do these things, because you'll understand why and the importance behind why. So hopefully that answers your question. Hi, Lindsay. Love your heart. Paula, what an incredible intervention you have provided parents. Thank you for your work. Oh, you're very welcome. And Goran as well. It's really my pleasure to do this. I put a lot into it. I've put a lot of years into it, and I put a lot into it currently. I never stop researching for you. I don't want you to have to go out there and do it. And I know you still will, because, that's just sort of what we become, as our researchers for our kids. But there's so much knowledge that I have and experience that I wanted to be able to give it to you so that you could utilize it for your child. Because, I mentioned in the masterclass, if you've heard of Stephanie Seneff, she is an MIT professor and she's brilliant. I interviewed her on glyphosate, which is on my website. So if you type in glyphosate or Seneff, Seneff, I've done a couple of different interviews with her. She is brilliant and wonderful. And she talks about how by the year 2025, and a lot of this, she says, for her, it's multiple things, but she says glyphosate's a big part of it, is that by 2025, she believes 1 in 2 children will be diagnosed with autism. We're already up to 1 in 34. I mean, it's just gone nuts. And it's because there are so many environmental toxins out there. And now, as you become more educated what they are, how to help support your body and your child's body, because we have to take care of ourselves, right? We don't know how long we'll be around, and we want to be around as long as we can to help our kids, especially. Really important to take care of ourselves. So we want to, make sure that we have the solutions we need, and there are solutions. And that's really what I'm here to tell you. This isn't just some genetic thing your child was left with, and there's nothing you can do for their symptoms. We can help them. You can help them. And I'm just a mentor who has lived it and had done it successfully. I guide you, but you are the one that needs to take the steps. Once you're in the program, I will support you. I will never leave you hanging. If you write me a question in the forum, if you're following the program and you get stuck or you have a question, you just write me in the forum and I get back to you within 24 hours. It's included in the price of the program. There's no extra fee for that, which I know that there can be in a lot of places. I remember that myself very well. And So my goal is to save you the time and the expense in the long run of, what a year could cost you if you're hunting and pecking through the internet for answers and trying trying this and that, different things that many of don't work, or you don't know how to use it properly. You could maybe even be using a really good supplement, but it might be the wrong dosage or the wrong timing. Some of these things our bodies need a little preparation for. Um, my I don't want to get too much into it because then I start getting confusing. But like glutathione, our body's master antioxidant. Our kids are deficient in it. You want to have glutathione supplemented before methyl B12 because it just helps the body with the methylation process, hence methyl, which is basically the detoxification process. Many people say, my child was diagnosed, or I was told they have an MTHFR mutation. Heard of that? I have interviews I've done on that one on my podcast on my blog site as well. And I could have said, yeah, almost everybody does these days because it means your detoxification pathways are basically backed up. I mean, in the layman's terms, and you've got to get them working properly before you can kind of move forward. There are stages to make this happen more easily and more effortlessly, because as I mentioned in the master class, die-off reactions will happen, heightened symptoms. Um, it's because as the body is releasing more and more toxins, we want to do it slowly. That's why, you're so used to chaos and doing everything as fast as you can. And this is a time to step back and relax a little bit and try to enjoy your life, have some fun too, because the slower you do it, the more your child's body has time to adjust to anything new that you give them. You watch for symptoms. If symptoms arise, then you slow down with dosages, maybe even back off of them for a couple of days, let the body catch up. If you go too fast, you'll have really rapid detoxification. The symptoms will get really heightened, and then you really have to back off, maybe even a little bit longer to let the body catch up. So it's all a process that I guide you through, but it's kind of like, the things that have to be done. You may have already seen die-off reactions with other things that you've done, maybe giving supplements or other treatments or things that you've done prior to this. We have people coming in at all levels, again, where they're brand new, newly diagnosed, newbies, I call them, and they haven't done much, don't know much at all. And then other parents who are called seasoned. You've been doing this for a long time. You've tried a lot of resources and you haven't gotten the results you're looking for yet, or you know that there's more you can do. And that's where this comes into, because it is so thorough, which is what makes it unique. So we have guidelines for everybody. So no worries wherever you're at on the journey. But the seasoned parents, you've usually seen some die-off reactions in the past. I always have to warn the newbies about it because they get really worried and concerned about this is making my child worse. Usually it's just done too quickly if that happens. And if you notice that um, that the symptoms get really heightened really quickly, the worst symptoms are that you get for die-off reactions from when you start detoxification. And that can even happen with just the changes in the diet, because we're starving out the candida and bad bacteria that crave those bad foods like the sugar, the gluten, processed carbohydrates, dairy, all of those things. They need it to thrive and survive. Another reason why we don't want to feed them what they need. But as the diet changes, then they start to die and die off. And when they do, they release toxins. And so you can see heightened behaviors from that. Picky eating, mentioned already, obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD, is very common from many things, from heavy metals to co-infections. Really extreme OCD with clinginess is really PANS or PANDAS, which is an acronym for where basically the immune system is sort of attacking the brain, and it can be also part of a streptococcal infection that's going on, strep in the body, but it causes extreme OCD behaviors, and that those behaviors can also be around food. So when we start working on the pans or the pandas, then usually that picky eating will calm down a little bit because we want to calm those OCD behaviors, and they'll allow more. Also important to know that as the gut begins to heal, the picky eating gets a lot better. So that's important too, to know that, it is a transition, it takes time, but you'll get there. The worse the symptoms are is usually meaning that find from die-off or reactions. It usually means that the worse the infections are in the body, the stronger the toxic or pathogenic load, and so that means you go even slower because you have to give your child's body time to adjust. We need to support the liver and the detoxification pathways. So we have natural and safe and effective ways of doing that, which I can guide you through in the program. There's a lot to it. Obviously, this isn't a 5-minute conversation, hence the program and why I hope that you join again before doors close tomorrow night, Thursday night, January 13th at midnight. We will close enrollment. And also the masterclass replay will go down then as well. So if you have not watched the replay, or you want to revisit it for any reason, and you're wanting to join the program, please make sure you do those things before tomorrow night at midnight, Thursday night at midnight. And the link is right here, naturallyrecoveringautism.com/membership, which will again give you more details about the program as well, because you might have some more questions about what's in it. So it talks a little bit about the modules, the 7 modules, what's in them. And because you might think, well, have I done this before? It's likely that there are many things in this program that you've not done before. But it shows you there, and it gives you some testimonials, which are really important. I understand that, to help you build some trust and see what it's done for other parents, and then you at some point you just have to kind of go, okay, yeah, this feels right for me, and then I'm gonna do this and give it my best, and really do it, implement the steps. That's the key, is really doing the steps. But I lay them out right away on the introduction page. There is I put it in bright pinkish purple text, stands out from everything else. It says a quick guide to getting started, because there's a lot to this, and I put a lot for you in the member site. It's a big education, but it's a step by step. So I know you're already overwhelmed. I don't want you to come in and feel more overwhelmed. I want you to just take that quick guide, the first steps in your first steps email that you'll get again within 5 minutes. You get immediate access. And then you just start with a quick guide, and then everything you need will be there to get started. And then you can just do one thing at a time as you want to move forward. Let me see, it looks like another question just came in I want to answer. Hi, Rose. First off, thank you for all the great information. You're welcome. I hope the masterclass was really informative, educational, again, inspires you, excites you to know that there are some solutions for you, and inspires you to take some action, because I really love hearing the testimonials and the things, the positive changes that parents have seen for their children. Just as everything. It's the whole reason I do this. Considering membership, but wanted to be clear that there's a supplement guide with dosage and instructions that's comprehensive to avoid all these expensive costs that a typical functional MD would charge. Yeah, Rose, I had one mom, I think I mentioned this in the master closet. She wrote me and she said, I went to the practitioners and he gave me 13 supplements to start my child on today. And I have another mom who wrote in something like that, and she had done something like that in the past. And she said it was like her child was having an exorcism. And that's exactly what you can't do that. You have to do one by one. Yes, it's I have a supplement ordering guide with the exact links to what you need. Only get what you need when you need them. Again, this is a marathon. It is not a sprint. It takes time, one thing at a time. You go at your child's pace. You watch for their symptoms. I have a whole page to teach you different types of muscle testing so that you can learn how you only need one. Pick one that you feel most comfortable using, and then practice it over time. It takes a little time to learn, so don't worry about that. But it will be very helpful for asking about acceptance of any food or supplement over time, but then also for asking for dosages, because you start out with really low dosages. In fact, w- from some of the things, it's as low as 1 drop a day for the first maybe week or so. So yes, I show you the guidelines for the dosaging, how to start, how to slowly titrate up. It's your job to not get too eager and go too fast and go above their symptoms, or and just watch how they're doing. And then I give you direct links to each supplement, both on a PDF that's a supplement ordering guide, just to have there in case when you need to go back to replenish, it's easy to find it back there. But every page for each supplement, like say the toxin binder page and the binder we use, or the two of them, I give the links next to the video. That's a less than 5 minute long video. It's usually somewhere about 3 to 5 minutes. I purposely kept them short. There's a little bit of text next to it that gives a little bit more information, just enough to help you understand, okay, why we're doing it and all that, because I want you to have the knowledge, but not just, okay, but this is now what you do. This is the dosage that's good to start with. That also is a link to purchase the product. And many of the companies now, because I've researched them, interviewed many of the owners, got to know them well enough. I always ask, do you have a discount code you can offer me for my members? And many times they have offered us. So the discount code will be there both on the individual page for that supplement, as with the link, and on the supplement ordering guide, same thing. So there are many companies that offer discount codes, which is really helpful. I mean, whenever they can, they do. There are a couple that don't offer them, so you won't see a code for that one. But if there is one, it's right there with the page or on the supplement ordering guide. So yeah, very specific, a whole everything. You don't need to go out and research more supplements or try and figure out more of things to do. I know some of us can't help ourselves, but it's really laid out to be quite thorough. And then because I had to narrow it down to the most important supplements, and there's still enough of them there that are necessary, in order not to overwhelm, like everybody needs this, there are some guides that are separate for PDFs. Like there's a page on which I think the parent should utilize as well as for the child, sensory overload and calming. My craniosacral background and being a massage therapist for 35 years now, and a lot of the courses I've taken and energy work, all these things I'm doing, I'm very much about mindset and calming and techniques that you can use on yourself and your child as well. So there are a few different video tutorials on that, as well as on the detoxification page. Some things you can do for lymphatic massage, liver massage, and I keep the videos very short and simple. Everything's simplified as much as I can. But you'll get some good education on other things that you can do for yourself and your child. So when there are certain things that are really needed a lot of time for calming. So on that sensory calming page, there is a PDF guide at the bottom for some additional supplements as well that can be helpful for calming. On the gut healing diet page, you'll see, and I think I even have this one on the introduction page too, because it's so common, is help for constipation, and some things that can help with that as well. Maybe supplement one or two different supplements that are helpful with that. If if people want some additional, or maybe it's in the program later, but you could use it now, and that would be okay. So I give guidance around that. A full PDF for help for transitioning the picky eater. There are some, and of course, like the supplements, the things are in powder and liquid form, so our kids can't take pills. And if there is something that only came in a capsule and it's the best of the best for what we need for that purpose for our children with autism, then it's in the program. But I explicitly say you can open it up and pour out. Maybe your child only needs half of a dosage of a capsule a day. So you can open the capsule, pour it out into food or beverage, and mix it into food and beverage. That way, they don't have to take the capsule. But there are some powdered supplements that are powdered foods, basically like super green foods or collagen, that are unflavored, things like that, that you can add into smoothies to help you get creative with additional nutrition resources. Because while you're transitioning and trying to heal the gut, uh, transitioning the picky eating and the dieting, you want to have some other resources to get some nutrition in. So those are there as well. So yeah, I do um, try to give you, all the resources you need, um, and make an effort not to be overwhelming. But we're recovering and working with autism and body, so there is a lot to it. But again, it's one thing at a time on your child's timeline. There is no catching up to do. There's no, pace that you have to keep at. The only pace you really want to keep at, that's most important, is your child's pace. And this does not have to take a lot of time at all. That quick guide, you can do one thing. You can order, there's four things on that first page to get, because it kind of gets you going. But even if you needed to just do two of them, first off, and then said, okay, I'm going to do the other two in a couple of weeks or whatever, but get things going, that would be okay too. So you do it on your timeline, on your child's timeline. Um, and I've purposely kept the videos short and the informational pieces short, but giving you enough information to know why. Um, because I don't want it to have to, feel like it has to take much of your time. Um, and again, you can read. I mean, if you've seen Shannon's video, I showed it in the master class, and we also have it on the page to join with some of some of the testimonials are, and where the masterclass replay link is, again, at naturallyrecoveringautism.com/membership. Shannon is one of the moms from the program, a member, and she talks about how it streamlined it for her. She's also the one who said she couldn't wait for her son to say mom for the first time, and he finally did at age 5 after implementing the steps in this program. And, keep in mind that many parents, including myself, had tried many things prior to this and not gotten results. Now, I can't guarantee anything. I can't say that. Nobody can, though. I don't care who the top specialist is. It's not, we don't know what will happen for each child until we try we're working with the right things, and doing it very thoroughly. But how Shannon talks about, her son, now that there's two clips from Shannon, video clips on that page. One, she talks about how she couldn't wait for her son to say mom, and he finally did, and she caught it on video, which is amazing. And then how she told me in a longer interview I did with her, which is on my website, full podcast interview. And she says her son she would have so much anxiety herself every morning before school, because her son would scream in tantrums and just anxiety and terror about getting on the school bus and going to school. And so she said it was just horrible every day. She said now he gets on the bus, he's all happy to go to school, he's calm, he's enjoying, he's making friends, he's talking, he's beyond mom. He's fully talking and doing great. He's a happy kid. And so those are the differences we're looking for, right? A life change that enables a child to live their life the way they should, have it be more fulfilling, give them the brightest future possible. And really, they deserve a chance like everybody else. And I'm just here to share that there are solutions. And hopefully, this is helpful for you. Rose, you watched it 2 times. Right on. That's actually great because there's a lot of information I know. I always when I give the master class, I don't want it to be like a fire hose coming at you of information, but I want to be thorough and I am trying to get my points across, right? Why you want to do each of the 4 stages, not just one or two, why you're doing them. Again, just like the first question here today, do we have to keep gluten and dairy and these things and sugar out of the diet always? Well, if you understand why those foods are so detrimental to the system, more than, oh, they're just not healthy. Well, why are they not healthy? What do they do to the gut? What do they do to the brain? All of these other things, the toxic overload. Um, then it helps to understand more of why you would want to do these things, implement them. And I think it gives you more oomph to take the action about doing it because it's like, "Oh, now I know why. Now I don't want my child to have that." Instead of, "Oh, I'm depriving him of something." No, 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 you're helping them by not giving them those things. So, and understanding that that's the way to look at it. Once the transition's made, it doesn't feel like it's so foreign. It's just in the beginning because everybody just gets really used to the foods they eat and what they think is healthy. And there's just so much of emotion behind food. There are people have eating disorders with food. It covers emotional things for a lot of people. People are very emotional about their food, so it's kind of a transitional process. On the sensory calming page, some of those things can be very helpful for all of these things. And clearing old, past, and subconscious beliefs. I link to things like my Mindset podcast, which you can also listen to, number 118, and various things that I've linked to in the program on the sensory calming page, but I think are so important for you as a parent going through on this journey. Really, anybody. We want to take care of our physical body, but we also want to take care of our emotional body because how we look at things and what we believe is really what we will continue to draw more of into our life, keep experiencing. So, having a positive mindset, shifting out of old belief patterns of fear, worry, terror for many, and there can be experiences that we had as a young child that we may or may not even remember or be aware of that triggered something in our psyche, in our subconscious, to um, reacting to certain situations now, today. I say about 99% of how we function today as an adult is, or at any time, is driven by our subconscious. And the subconscious mind is developed by the age of 7. And then additional experiences we have past that will continue to affect our mind in a way where if it was emotionally triggered enough, that we are triggered very easily. One of the things I see a lot of too in my years of doing this with parents, there's a lot of self blame, doubt, and if somebody even says something that is not even an insinuation that a parent has done something wrong, they're automatically on the defense, and it's because of their own internal issues that somebody's trying to blame them or saying they did something wrong or things like that. So really just start being aware of how things make you feel. Like there's usually a sensation in your body. Mine tends to start in the solar plexus in my gut, and then I'll notice my throat will get kind of tight, and I'll think, okay, I'm having a physical feeling about this. What is it that's triggering me? Something about this is bothering me, and looking inward, not trying to react or be defensive, but trying my best to, we're all human, to figure out, well, what is it about this that's bothering me, and what do I need to really try to work on clearing, because there are ways to very gently and easily clear these, even working on yourself. And that sensory page in the program has a bunch of those, um, some of those tutorials there for you, and even practitioners that you could get a hold of to help you with that if you wanted to. The beauty today too, especially since the pandemic, is that many people are working online. So if I might think, well, I think emotion code work clearing would work well for you, or natural allergy elimination. I have a couple of somebody I refer to in the program for that. Things like that. I think if we're talking in the forum, and I think this could be really beneficial for you right now, go to module 4 to my interview with Kara. Look at that, interview, and her information to schedule is next to it. I think that could be really helpful right now in that process. Um, I try to teach you how to do a lot of things on your own to save you time and expense. Sometimes I think, it'd be really good for you to maybe do this right now, you know, or have a session with this person, and it could be helpful. So it just depends on where you're at, but there's a lot that you can do to help yourself get emotionally stronger, which also helps our children get stronger, because they see when we have fear. If you have anxiousness when you bring them food because you're so afraid they're going to throw it across the room, or they're not going to eat it, or they're going to start screaming, they see that, they pick up on it right away. So we start putting out what we want to have happen, and getting more into more stable place, but also helping them. I know many moms have written me about this, which this is one of my little pet peeves, that happened to her child, because it happens to all of our kids, I think, at some stage, or even to us in some stage, that her son was bullied at school. I don't like bullies. and he it was getting, so he it was traumatic. Now these are the kinds of subconscious things, or even conscious things, but heavily in subconscious, that start to get grained in. And she said he had PTSD now about going to school because he was getting bullied. So these are things that we can help our kids as they especially get better. Maybe they were not verbal or barely verbal and they become verbal. Whatever past issues that they had, just as we have had things in the past, can be worked with, and we can help their self-esteem, because moving forward, we want them to feel accepted and smart and all of these things, right? And this can be the case for anybody. But we really want to help our children be who they are emotionally, as well as the things that we're doing for them physically. Um, Rose ordered your book too. What info will I find in the masterclass that perhaps the book does not have, or vice versa? So the masterclass and the book are really a lot of the what and the why, in details. The membership program is much more thorough, and everything about the how to. I can only give so much of that in a book, or of course in a 3-hour masterclass, right? So I try to explain things so that you have the depth of understanding for education. In fact, I usually say the members should have the book, because there's so much depth of things that you might want to know about. But the membership program will give you the how to steps, all of them, much more thoroughly, in the order they need to be in, links to the products, the coupon codes for the product you need when you need it. Of course, the co-infections are worked with in the membership program to a far greater depth and need to be. There's a lot more to it. Things like that. So yeah, there's that's the what and why, and this is somewhat and why, but a lot of the how to, the steps to implementing, and the support along the way, because there are questions that come up. We archive all of the questions and answers in the forum when any member asks me over the years from day one. Um, so there's a search bar in the forum, and you can type in a keyword like picky eater and or diet and or new to the program. Um, and you'll have multiple questions and answers that have happened before, because there's a wealth of information in there. You'll find a lot of things that parents have asked before that are already on your mind, or maybe is on your mind right now, or things you'll learn that will eventually happen for you. Questions that would possibly come up for you in the future. So they'll be like, "Oh, wow, that's going to happen," or that's what I would do if that came up, or So it's a lot of really good information. So the search bar is there to learn from too, but of course there, and then the knowledge base, I've put like the most frequently asked questions. Like some of these we've even answered here today. Of course, these are very common. Of course, people want to know about, picky eating and supplement and how do I transition the diet, various things. So um, those are there, and then of course the forum is just golden. If you don't find what you're looking for in the search bar, or it's not already explained in the program, or it is, but you're confused about part of that or implementation, or your child's gone into a really severe die-off reaction. This is common. People jump in. Okay, my child's really heavily stimming. It's gotten worse. What do I do? I help support them, walk them through it a little bit, like what to do, some calming supplements, some things that they can do to support detoxification, very important. Um, so though that is crucial. The forum is there to support you. If you don't have the answer to a question you're looking for, um, and you don't already find it, then you ask me and I'll get back to you within 24 hours. So that's available to you. That's a lot of it. There are going to be a lot of questions that come up on the journey, that there just are. And I try to be as thorough as I can in the program to answer those along the way already on the individual pages and as you move forward. But other things will come up. So if you need, then I'm there for you. So it looks like we've answered all the questions that are here today, and I hope this was helpful for you and does have you, again, a little more educated, have a little more understanding of things, an understanding of how the membership program works, what it offers you, why. We give you access to everything right up front, um, because some people move faster at different pace. Everybody moves forward at a different pace. Um, but I'll have you start out again at the very beginning at square one, and just do one thing at a time as you move forward. You go to naturallyrecovering.autism.com/membership. Make sure that you go there and join the program. And if you want to revisit the masterclass at all, that you do that before midnight tomorrow night, Thursday night, January 13th. Everything will close. The doors will close at midnight then, and enrollment will close. And so I want to make sure if you want to get in, that you do so. That page will give you more details again about what the membership offers you and how it works. If you have any administrative types of questions prior to joining or anything like that, you can write to support@naturallyrecoveringautism.com. We always try to do our best to help answer your questions in any way we can. And within 5 minutes of joining, you will have, and that page also has a lot of different testimonials that you can read to hear how it's helped other parents, because I think that's important for you to see. And then when once you join, within 5 minutes, you should have an email in your inbox. If you don't see it, then check your spam folder, because it should be there. If, again, for any reason didn't come, support@naturallyrecoveringautism.com. But you should have it within 5 minutes. It'll have your first steps and your login details for the, again, private members only website. It's not a Facebook thing. It's actually a private membership site. So it's its own website. So you'll log in, and with those first steps, we'll guide you what to do, and the quick guide will get you started. And then along the way, if you have a question, just ask me in the forum. All right. Well, I hope this is helpful for you. And if you know anybody else who might be interested in any of this, if you're in Facebook groups or in groups at home, local chapters for autism parents, or at the therapist's office, you're welcome to share this link with them as well. Again, make sure they have it before midnight Thursday night to check out the masterclass or this resource, because I know that there are a lot of parents out there searching for this information but don't know it exists. You were fortunate enough, and I feel fortunate enough that you are here and found it, and have the opportunity, if it's something that that you feel can help you, which I believe it can. I really hope that you do join, because I would love to have you in the program and really help you get the results you're looking for with your child, and really help them to live a much happier and healthier, more fulfilling life, because they really deserve it. And so do you. So anyway, thanks for being here. It looks like all the questions are answered. So I'm going to hop off now, and I will not say goodbye. I will say, I'll see you soon. I'll see you on the inside. Let's make 2022 the best year yet, right? We've got a brand new year, and I think we're all ready for some positive changes, and it's time. So let's make it happen. All right. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon.